Thanks for joining us. Let's look at the best original reporting from KPBS News this week. I'm Maya Trabulsi, and coming up, it's bat season in San Diego, and we're not talking about the Padres. Sci-Tech reporter Thomas Fudge peels back some of the misconceptions about these mysterious creatures that play a big role in our ecosystem. And San Diego's wine industry is having a moment. Alexander Nguyen visits one local vineyard to find out why sales are way up. And the next step for the Convoy Cultural District. Melissa May has the major revamp in the works that will bring much-needed housing to the heart of Kearny Mesa. It is crunch time this weekend for Congress and the White House. By now, you've likely heard all about the debt limit negotiations dominating national headlines. And Jacob Ayer tells some of what hangs in the balance here in San Diego.
President Biden and Republicans in Congress have not made much progress on raising the debt ceiling. That's the limit on how much money the U.S. can borrow. SDSU economics professor Hisham Fouad explains why it matters if it's not raised.
We're going to come up short of meeting all of our obligations, whether it be interest on debt that we owe, but also something, everyday things like Social Security and Medicare payments, paying the salaries of people in our military, meeting our obligations for government contracts, all sorts of things.
Local organizations like the San Diego Food Bank receive 20 to 30% of their supply from federally funded programs. The political stalemate on the debt ceiling could lead to cuts in their food quantity and increase the number of people they need to serve, says the organization's Vanessa Ruiz.
Now, if we have bigger issues with the debt ceiling and they start cutting CalFresh, SNAP, it could mean a lot more people are going to be looking for food assistance from us.
Time is running out. The $31.4 trillion ceiling has already been reached. If Congress fails to act, the government could default as early as June 1st. Fouad says even a week of delay could have catastrophic effects.
Basically, we're going to have to start making some decisions about what to prioritize. And it's almost certain that the Treasury Department's going to prioritize meeting their debt and interest payments first.
Ruiz says this has happened before, even recently in 2018 and 2019, and it impacted San Diegans.
Back when we saw the debt ceiling reach its cap, government shut down, we were serving additional folks who never came to our food distribution, such as the Coast Guard. We had other military branches that were coming to our doors asking for food assistance, whether temporarily or indefinitely until they could get back on their feet.
Fouad says it's still unlikely that no agreement on the debt ceiling is reached in time, but it's important to brace for the worst-case scenario. That includes federal budget cuts and a serious hit to the overall economy that he says would lead to a recession. Jacob Ayer, KPBS News.
And some of those who rely on food benefits are already having to get by with less due to the end of emergency COVID benefits. Our race and equity reporter Katie Hyson checks in on one local family.
I just hope the state, the federal government, somebody wakes up. It's like people are going to starve.
Right here. Maria Hernandez lives with her 17-year-old daughter in Poway. They survive off Hernandez's disability check and their combined CalFresh benefits. In March, the COVID emergency allotments ended. Their monthly grocery assistance went from about $600 down to just $160.
$160 for me and my daughter. Just nothing. You can't survive.
With the extra benefits, Hernandez used to buy fresh vegetables and lean meats. Now, they eat what they can afford: ground beef and tuna fish, mac and cheese and top ramen. Produce from food pantries often goes bad within a day, she says. The nutritional change reflected in her doctor's visits for her diabetes.
Because the processed food is cheaper, which is sad, and that's not good for me. My sugars were leveled, but now they're going up and down again.
Hernandez works the grocery sales, but still has to dip into savings. When she had the extra benefits, she set some aside each month to prepare for the day when they would end. She has a stockpile in her pantry. She estimates it will last 2 more months. After that, she'll do whatever she has to.
There's going to be times where, I'm going to just let her eat or whatever the case may be, because I can't afford it.
The end of the emergency allotments resulted in an estimated loss of more than 7.5 million meals a month in San Diego County. Hernandez is one of many.
And a lot of people think it's just unhoused. It's just people that, don't have homes, that may be struggling with food insecurity. It's not. It could be your neighbor, it could be your friend, it could be a colleague.
Food banks, already strained by record food inflation and rising transport costs, are reporting increased demand they're unable to meet. Feeding San Diego spokesperson Carissa Casares says the emergency allotments are irreplaceable.
There's no solution to this, really. This was a huge loss for our whole state, for the whole country, and food banks can't just simply come up with the replacement. We're struggling already with donations that are down from the height of the pandemic. It's not seen as so much of a crisis anymore.
Hunger Coalition CEO Anahid Braki puts this into perspective.
The loss of these emergency allotments is worse than if every single food bank and food pantry closed their doors.
Braki says CalFresh benefits have other advantages over food banks. The dollars are spent locally. They're accessible for those who can't make it to a food bank and can be spent on foods appropriate to someone's culture and diet. And Braki says many San Diegans who are eligible are not enrolled. They may not realize that the income limit is double the federal poverty level, or they believe incorrectly that it will endanger their ability to become a citizen.
So our immigrant and refugee and migrant neighbors, they're afraid to apply for CalFresh because they're worried that they'll be considered a public charge on the government and be looked on less favorably for citizenship. So that is not true.
And many who are enrolled are not getting the maximum benefit for which they're eligible. She says the system is unnecessarily complicated. It requires internet access, tech savvy, and advanced language proficiency. If everyone who is eligible for CalFresh got the benefit, she says food banks could be used more strategically for people who are not eligible. May is CalFresh Awareness Month, and Braki and her team are encouraging San Diegans who do have that access to learn the system so they can help others enroll, and no one should be embarrassed.
The numbers just don't work out when you look at the salaries and you look at the cost of living. So it really isn't a sign of personal failing. This is really an equity issue.
Braki and other advocates are eyeing a piece of legislation that, if approved, would increase the monthly minimum CalFresh benefits from $23 per month to $50. It's an increase almost big enough to cover a gallon of milk and a dozen eggs each week. Meanwhile, Hernandez's stockpile is running out. Katie Hyson, KPBS News.
And Katie is part of our team of reporters looking at why San Diego is one of the top cities in the country for multi-generational housing. Each home and family has its own mix and dynamic. Gustavo Solis has the latest in our series.
Whenever you have three generations living together under one roof, conflicts are unavoidable, especially with the little things like who gets to pick what the family watches on TV.
Do you like take the control away from your grandma?
Yeah, she does.
No, I ask.
Alicia is a 10-year-old girl who lives with her two parents and her 88-year-old grandmother in National City. Grandma Ludivina Vega moved in with her family last year. She valued her independence, but health issues prevented her from living on her own.
It's fun. It feels good in your heart to be close to your relatives.
Alicia's mom and dad both have full-time jobs. They're also taking care of Abuela, which is what they call the grandmother. Liliana Vega says becoming a caretaker feels like a full-time job, especially when you have to navigate San Diego County's complex healthcare system.
You just don't know who to ask. And then some people give you some information, but they don't give you all the information. I'm like, why can't? Isn't there something that you could just go to? Like, you have elderly parents. Go and deal with this if they're on Social Security or whatever. Like, it can't be this hard.
After multiple phone calls with different government agencies, she was able to finally get a home health aide visit for 4 hours a week. Now she helps other friends who have also had to become caretakers and offers this piece of advice.
It's gonna change your life. It's gonna affect your relationship with your husband or your partner, whoever they may be, and not necessarily negatively, but it's just, it has to be a lot of patience, and it's gonna be hard.
The average cost of assisted living in San Diego County is more than $5,000 a month. That's according to a study by Genworth Cost of Care. Liliana's husband, Ricardo Islas, says that putting Abuela in a home was never an option, even if they could afford it. He remembers growing up with his own grandma in the house and says taking care of elders is a big part of Mexican culture.
I think it's maybe just the way we grew up, like whether it would be my parents or her mom, you know, when it came time to take care of a family member. I think we were just all raised to not put somebody in a home, to just take care of them as long as you can.
Even though she doesn't always get to choose what to watch on TV, NCIS is her favorite, Ludivina Vega says that living with her family is a blessing. In the following weeks of this series, we'll bring you stories highlighting the experiences of other multi-generational households. Gustavo Solis, KPBS News.
And if you have a story to tell about your multi-generational household, then we would love to hear it. You could just go to kpbs.org/roof. San Diego's Convoy Street in Kearny Mesa has blossomed in recent years, especially as a destination for foodies. Now it's getting a makeover that will bring long overdue improvements and homes. Melissa May tells us what's in the works.
Blessed the project that is about to take place here.
Representatives of the Kumeyaay Nation joined community leaders to give a blessing for the planned revitalization of the Convoy Asian Cultural District. San Diego Mayor Todd Gloria and San Diego City Council member Kent Lee also took part in a very special tea pouring ceremony as an offering to ancestors and blessing of the land, where a 531-unit apartment and mixed-use building is set to be built.
I think housing is really important for every neighborhood. I think when we think of many of our core neighborhoods in San Diego that have sort of grown in their identity, having residents living there is a critical part of it.
To take the Convoy District to the next level, to provide revitalization that will bring even more people, support the small businesses here, and further the cultural identity for this community.
Along with more housing, other parts of the district will be upgraded too, including the 3.4 miles of roads.
We will start construction on one of our biggest road repair projects yet, the full repaving of Convoy Street. And when I say full, I'm not lying. From State Route 52 all the way to the 163 in Kearny Mesa Road, the entirety of this street will be completely rebuilt.
And the parking situation is being addressed too.
We know that parking has always been a challenge within the region. The city is working on a new Convoy parking district that we envision as a way to really think about how we move around the area.
All of these improvements are part of the Kearny Mesa Community Plan that is helping to transform the area from a business focus into a community where people will live, work, and play.
And that will help to support many of the local small businesses here, many of which are immigrant, refugee-owned, and we hope that that really continues to really propel the corridor to be one of the most exciting destinations for anyone to visit while in San Diego.
Later this year, a new gateway sign is going to be put up in the Convoy District that will welcome the community and tourists, just like other iconic San Diego neighborhoods. Melissa May, KPBS News.
And here are some of the most popular stories this week at kpbs.org. More on food insecurity in San Diego, as nearly 300,000 locals could get help but don't apply for the benefits. Another sign that the pandemic era is winding down as San Diego Unified ends its high virtual academy for middle and high schoolers. And skateboarding as a metaphor and tool for recovery. We'll have our story on local pro skater Brandon Turner and how he's helping people overcome addiction. San Diego's winemakers just saw their biggest year-to-year jump in sales ever. KPBS North County reporter Alexander Nguyen visited one local vineyard to learn more about their post-pandemic resurgence.
Last year, San Diego County wineries had more than $49 million in gross sales, and the number of wineries grew to 166. That, according to the recent economic impact report released by the San Diego County Vintners Association.
That's the highest ever. $49 million, almost $50 million just in San Diego County.
Mike Weber is the vice president of the Vintners Association and general manager of Avila Winery. He says COVID did a number on the industry, but those pandemic changes are also what's helping the industry grow right now.
We all remember that we had to go outside. Well, it's really been rather effective. The wine business in general is an event type of business. You come here to drink and enjoy it, and having more room outside in a view like this, you know, it really is enthralling for people.
You know, it's kind of a sudden jolt to our business.
Edward Embley is the owner of Hungry Hog Winery. When the pandemic hit, the winery had only been in operation for 6 years. He says the outdoor dining guidelines helped to expand his business.
With that, really, we ended up hiring more employees. And those changes made a big change in our business. And it actually was a positive change. And then we have carried over a lot of those same procedures to today.
According to the report, nearly half of the wineries in the area have rebounded to pre-pandemic level, and the industry has grown 6%, adding more than 700 jobs to the area. But Weber says the industry still faces some challenges in the recovery process. Wildfire insurance has grown 54%, for example, and of course, inflation.
Inflation has definitely hurt the wine biz in a very prominent way. But superseded that, we've hired more people as collectively here in San Diego. It's just up, 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 and a very good trend.
With nearly 170 wineries in the county, almost doubling that of Riverside County, the wine industry is one of the top 10 agricultural industries in San Diego. Alexander Nguyen, KPBS News.
And Orfila Vineyard and Winery is a corporate partner of KPBS. Also in the North County, a summer tradition is taking shape. Tanya Thorne visited the Del Mar Fairgrounds to see what goes into bringing the fair to life.
The San Diego County Fair doesn't open for a couple more weeks, but the fairgrounds are already an active scene. That's because a lot goes into getting everything up and running.
We have setup, we have tear down, we have operation, we have transport, we have maintenance.
Bruce Perlman is a ride owner from Santa Monica. He travels from fair to fair between February and October.
It is a full-time job and an occupation. You know, we're doing a little maintenance on this ride right now, and you know, we have people that are making sure that we're doing it right and so that everything is safe.
Perlman says when it comes to fair rides, the state of California has a robust set of inspections before the fair opens.
We have inspectors from the fair, we have inspectors from the state, we have our own inspectors, so safety is paramount for all of us. No one is in this business to see anybody get hurt.
But they are in the business of seeing the community have fun. And part of the fair fun is also the food. Vincenzo Giamanco is a new vendor this year and brings along s'mores and more.
We had this concept of doing like a s'mores area, so you can come here with your family, roast s'mores. We have some walking desserts. We have a campfire cone, which is like a s'mores cone that you're able to walk around with and eat. But we also have s'mores boards, which is where it's like an array of different candies and stuff like that.
Giamanco says with all of the different food options, all vendors look for ways to stand out. Because at the end of the day, the fair is an economic driver for all involved.
It's all the small businesses that rely on the fair for their revenues. So all the vendors in the commercial halls, all of the food vendors, you know, many of them travel the fair circuit, and this is what they do for their business all year long. And then, of course, all of the ride and game owners.
Katie Mueller with the Del Mar Fairgrounds says getting things ready for the fair takes a group effort. And part of that effort are the hundreds of seasonal workers the fair hires. Employment opportunities are still available. The fair opens on June 7th and runs until the 4th of July. Tanya Thorne, KPBS News.
Skateboarding has deep roots in San Diego, and many of its stars call our community home. And one of those is Brandon Turner. KPBS health reporter Matt Hoffman shows us how he's using the sport as a tool for healing and recovery.
Brandon Turner is a professional skateboarder. Called a skating prodigy, he's been sponsored since he was 13, but he's also struggled with substance abuse.
He just started from drinking at a young age and hanging out with older people, just trying to grow up too fast.
After getting his addiction under control, he founded Westside Recovery last year. It's a drug and alcohol treatment center that uses skateboarding as one tool to help people overcome addiction. Federal data estimates some 46 million Americans 12 and older have a substance abuse disorder, and only a fraction, around 6%, receive some type of treatment for it in 2021.
When I was going through my journey and anybody who would mention the word rehab, it always just sounded like a confinement to me. So I wanted to help remove the stigma with not only just rehab, but
mental health and substance abuse as a whole, that getting help is not weakness, and it doesn't mean you have a problem and you're bad.
Turner says skateboarding is a healthy release that also has valuable lessons.
Skateboarding teaches you failure on a daily basis. You're going to be failing every single day, and it's not what you do when you fall, because you're going to fall. It's what you do when you pick yourself back up.
Brandon Lefevre grew up with Turner and used to skate nearly every day, but he says drinking pulled him away from his passion.
The way I am is kind of sucks to admit it, but when I start, I wouldn't stop.
Lefevre says it wasn't until a close friend died that he reached out for help. Skating is just one aspect of Westside's recovery program. There's therapy, group sessions, and other specially curated programs, including surfing, mixed martial arts, and music making. Lefevre has been with the program for 2 months and says he's back to skating multiple times a week.
The other day I told Brandon it feels good to fall again, and he was like, "What?" I was like, "It feels good to fall again and get back up instead of falling and be like, oh man." But like fall and get back up and try it again.
Turner hosts a skateboarding program twice a week at skate parks across the county. He says a sense of community is a key part of recovery.
The opposite of addiction is connection, and it's all about community, because the bigger your circle is with resources, with like-minded people, the more you support you have.
Matt Hoffman, KPBS News.
And a quick reminder for you that everything that you see here is available on the KPBS YouTube page. You can subscribe and get notifications for some new content. And that's also where we live stream KPBS Evening Edition, weeknights at 5 o'clock. Our last story is one of our most popular this week. KPBS SciTech reporter Thomas Fudge learns all about bat season in San Diego and why these flying mammals are so drawn to our area.
Natalie Borchert stands on the edge of the San Diego River in Mission Valley as she describes the bat walks the San Diego River Park Foundation hosts every spring and summer. Warm weather and the insects that come with it have brought bats out of their hibernation. One cool thing about bats, they navigate and hunt using echolocation, where their high-pitched squeak bounces off of bugs in their path.
It's like when you stand in a canyon and you say, "Echo," and you hear it back. That's exactly what the bat is doing. They're sending out a frequency, and then based on what they get back, they can tell how far away that bug is.
Bats live all over San Diego. They're fond of roosting under freeway bridges. San Diego bat walks are very popular. In fact, Borchert said they've had to cap attendance. She chose this part of the river for a walk due to accessibility, a good supply of river bugs, and condo buildings with red tile roofs on either side. Bats squeeze between the tiles for cover. It's part of their urban habitat. Borchert says her group wants to help people engage with bats.
So one of the projects that we offer is for scouts to design and build their own bat boxes.
One of those scouts is 17-year-old Ty Castle Nguyen. He built 6 bat boxes to earn his Eagle Scout rank, and 3 of them are now installed near the San Diego River's edge in Julian. He said the bat box gives the animal a safe place to live in that area. A bat box looks like a very large birdhouse with entry slats below. Asked why he became interested in bats, Castle explains it's because they're bats.
They're mammals that can fly, and I think oftentimes we get caught up a lot in that kind of fantasy of flying, and it seems oftentimes like very mystical, being able to have that kind of superpower.
Then there's that creepy gothic allure of the bat.
Beyond Batman, there's also a lot of like witchcraft elements that are involved with bats, and you have characters like Dracula and these vampires that also can turn into bats or shapeshift, and I think those are really cool, popular elements that have kind of adapted from bats.
Before she created bat programs, Natalie Borchert said she used to be terrified of bats.
I still get a little nervous when they dive bomb my head. I have heard that possibly it's because I have the light-colored hair and the insects reflect well off of the hair, and so the bats come very close to you.
Don Endicott points out the bat is not aiming for your head.
There are all sorts of myths about bats. They attack you. Well, they don't. They'll get in your hair. Nope. They'll drink your blood. There are 3 species of vampire bats, none north of central Mexico, so none here.
Endicott is a retired engineer, a self-taught bat expert, and a guide at many local bat walks. He said San Diego has a terrific biodiversity among its bats. There are 45 bat species in North America, and 22 of them can be found in San Diego County. The greatest threat to bats, he says, is a deadly disease called white nose syndrome that's spreading east to west in North America. That and the heavy use of pesticides that kill a bat's insect prey. The only true danger bats present to us is rabies. Like skunks and raccoons, they can be vectors for the disease.
County health requirement is if there's human contact with a bat, the bat has to be tested for rabies. And that's an invasive procedure. The bat has to be euthanized, and it requires sampling brain tissues.
So, never touch a bat. Even if it's not rabid, it must be captured and killed after that. Bats are nature's insecticide, helping to make San Diego fairly bug-free. Bat populations can eat literally tons of bugs every night. Endicott says they are pollinators of native plants such as the agave. And though they are fast and elusive, Endicott recalls one instance when he camped in Joshua Tree National Park and was riding his bike near twilight.
And on the way back, it's after dark, and I have my headlamp on. It's a weekday, so no one on the road. And I look to my left, and there's a bat flying, basically my wingman, right off my shoulder, following me down the road, because undoubtedly I'm bringing up insects to the light.
One more thing about bats, they are not flying rodents. They are members of the Chiroptera family, and they bear a closer relation to primates than they do to mice. Thomas Fudge, KPBS News.
What a terrific story, and we hope that you enjoyed this look at KPBS News this week. I'm Maya Trabulsi. Thanks for joining us.